Ho ho, boardies. Ho ho ho. Welcome to a Borderline Games Christmas special. Today I'm here with...
Oh, me? Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, one and all.
Hey, guess what we did today? You've got to play the millions of people watching.
What did we do today?
We booked a professional voice actor. Your brother won't watch this, will he?
I hope he's not watching now.
That would be weird because we completely ruined his Christmas present.
Okay.
For his Christmas present, it might not be the brother that thinks it's for him, so...
Yeah. So if you're watching this, Doven, then immediately turn it off because you're about to have your Christmas present spoiled. But if you do want to watch it, you could come back in maybe... How long would it take you to explain? 30 seconds. Come back in 30 seconds, Doven. Okay, mute it until...
I hope I don't speak too
starting
slowly.
now.
Okay, so I got him a professional voice actor, and actor, I guess, who's also a DM to come and do a D&D session for Christmas with full-on roleplay action. But we won't be streaming it, I don't think, because that wouldn't be much
5
of a
seconds
present.
left.
Right. He's not really watching. He doesn't support us at all.
Welcome back, Doven. If you're listening now, then
It's safe.
it's safe for you to carry on with this game, and you're none the wiser as to what you're getting.
Can you
for
believe him? We
Christmas
got him
Day.
a stripper. Okay,
So we're playing
a
Roman's
Christmas
Christmas.
game.
We're playing a Christmas game. Off we go.
What's it? Oh, I don't know anything about this game, so that's exciting, right? Oh, and just in case I'm really loud, it's because I'm eating Christmas nuts.
Yeah, just in case you're loud. The snow had stopped.
Gareth always shouts at me because I'm not allowed to do things in the microphone.
A
And
lonely
I'm not allowed to make
lupine
noises on
detective
screen, and I always
or
forget to mute
talk
my
over
phone.
the...
And I don't
slowly
listen to
pushed
any
his
of the
way
rules
against
at
the
all.
snow.
And I'm eating nuts.
It was a familiar pathway he approached. No, he followed. His footsteps heavy on the snow-buried stone pavement as he approached his destination.
Oh,
We're
great.
attracting
Now
our
my
dogs.
dog's interesting.
Day 1, 23rd of December, 1285. Yeah, it's interesting.
Do you want to come up?
Background noise we can hear as
Can you
Vicky
hear me
slams
eating
her
my-
phone down.
I'm sorry. Can you hear my nutso?
Yeah. It's 2 days until Christmas and 2 days until the end of my fast. As nice as it is to feast on Christmas, I can't stomach a month-long fast. A whole month without any meat would certainly turn any wolf into a hare.
Oh,
Next
just,
time... Okay.
BT dubs. That's by the way.
Yeah,
I
if
have-
anyone's unsure as to what BT dubs means, it means by the way.
Is that like a used phrase? I don't know.
Carry on.
Well, anyway, I haven't been paying attention at all.
Okay, cool.
So what's
It's
happening?
alright, it's just flavour. I don't think any of the text so far has meaned anything, so don't worry.
Okay, as long as it hasn't meaned anything.
It hasn't meaned anything. Next time I'm not fasting for a month just to solve a case. Lucky
These
for
dogs
me.
are desperate to get up here. Do you think they want nuts?
Lucky for me.
One of us is more serious than the
I
other.
closed my last case before it ruined my vacation at the
It's
White
me.
Star Tavern. I'm not going to let another case interrupt my vacation. Not even a murder.
Ooh, there's been a murder.
I pulled my fur coat tighter and continued to walk against the cold wind
What's that
towards the
expression?
distant tavern.
Full fur coat, no knickers. What's that mean? Fancy.
It's
but
when you're
fancy on the
but not
outside,
practical.
rough inside. Do you
That's
think
right.
it means not practical?
Yeah.
I think it's like some sort of classism that like poor people don't wear knickers.
Why would it mean poor people if it's fur coats?
Yeah, like oh yeah, you look like you're rich,
But you've
but you
got
don't
no
even have
knickers.
underwear on. You're just keeping up appearances.
I finally
nan-
saw the sign of the
Oh.
White Star just as the warm breath
Sorry, guys.
coming
No
out of me
time
began
for
to
festive
froze
Christmas.
against
Good
my
chat.
snout.
I was going to tell you about something my nan said. She's a
Tell
very
us about what
Christmas
your
woman.
nan said.
Well, my nan was Italian and Welsh, which is an unusual combination. Born in Italy and moved here when she was young and then lived in Wales. Anyway, she was a Catholic and, I mean, I think that goes without saying, doesn't it, with Italian people? And she had some really great sayings. Like, if you whistled, she would say, "A whistling woman is no use to man nor God." If I wore nail varnish, she said I was a painted whore. She was very nice. This makes her sound like she was like really. It was just like that was just her flavor, I guess. But she said that you always have to make sure you've got your
Knickers
best
on.
knickers on in case you run over, and just knickers in general. And for some reason, that was like a really constant thing that she would say, like, make sure you've got good knickers. You don't want any hot. What if you get run over, like, all the time?
I think
But old people, well, I suppose she wasn't always old, but was that generation really afraid of being run over?
it was definitely common advice because I think I was given the same thing.
What, to wear underwear?
Yes.
Was that my phone?
No, it was something touching the mic, I think.
Oh, is it the dogs? The dogs are doing a little wrestle. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it was quite common to get the advice. I think maybe in school we were told to make sure we had good underwear on.
Oh, I was always told good underwear, yeah.
It seemed like
never
someone was
holes.
planning to run us over.
Also, never holes. I was a child. I'm not in charge of my underwear. If I've got
Yeah.
a hole in it, you guys sort that out. I'll just put on whatever's given to me. And also, I remember telling, this was like in the 90s, telling my nan that I wasn't wearing underwear because I was wearing a white skirt and I didn't like thongs because, you know, they go up your bum. And she was absolutely horrified, and I might as well have just said to her that I'd had like a gangbang or something. She was absolutely mortified. And she probably never recovered. Actually, when I got a tattoo, or when I got my lip piercing, that threw her over the edge as well. She literally cried tears over that. What will people think? She wept.
Yeah.
And the worst thing was, she'd forget about it because she had dementia, and she was also a bit blind. And then just for a laugh, Uncle Jim would be like, "Hey, remember she's got a lip pierce, Mum?" And then she'd cry again about what
Or
people must
remember she's
think.
got a tattoo.
Yeah.
Well, I think I found a good bit to clip for a short. I finally saw the sign of the white
clip
star
that.
just as the warm
What
breath
about
coming
all the
out of me
family are
began
watching?
to froze against my snout.
So is this animals? Or is he just referring to?
Yeah, well, yes.
Okay.
I wonder why the tavern keeper won't move to a better spot. If it weren't for the excellent cider, a tavern this far from downtown wouldn't last a year.
Oh, wouldn't it be nice to have Oh, what was that?
That was just the door opening. The door
God,
opening
it felt
sound.
like it was like here. I've got headphones on. I
Okay,
don't
I'm
only
just
wear
gonna turn
headphones.
Vicky's
It always freaks me out.
Headphones down.
No, don't turn them down.
Okay, leave them where they are.
But it was only that
And
bit that was loud.
we'll enjoy every reaction that Vicky has from now on, because that's going to happen a lot, I think.
Because I don't wear headphones, and these headphones cancel out all of the sounds, and it's an absolute assault on the senses. Like, it's very overwhelming.
Possibly
must
the
be-
strangest quirk that you have.
This must be what people who have like sensitivity issues feel like all
Oh,
the time.
we've got a viewer. If it's you, Doven, don't rewind 5 minutes because you'll learn of what your present was. I repeat, don't rewind 5 minutes because
It's
you'll find out.
Christmas.
Yes.
It's a Christmas
All right.
stripper.
The door's hinges creaked as I pushed it open. The warm scent of fireplace smoke, cooking bacon, and wheat bread encircled me. Several oil-painted portraits of white-furred dragons decorated the walls, each one exquisitely painted.
Why am I here again?
What do you mean,
Or do I do some talking now?
off you go?
Well, this is exciting, isn't it? So I'm a dragon now.
Yes, off you go.
Should I have like a particular voice? Should I be mystical? I don't know how to be mystical.
Okay, well, we'll go with whatever you come up with.
Haven't seen you for a while. What would you like to have today?
Perfect. Character info added. Sarn was dusting one of his precious portraits when I entered the tavern.
Oh, I'm a man. Don't I look feminine?
I guess so. He paused just long enough to speak, then continued his work. Why does an azure? Is that how you say that, do you think?
Yeah.
Azure-scaled dragon like him love white-furred dragons so much? Maybe I'll never know. Same as usual, but my fast doesn't break until the day after tomorrow.
Oh, were you trying to do Scottish as well then?
I don't know. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
Zahn put down the duster, then
It
wiped
always
his
sounds
hands with a
Scottish.
cloth at the counter before grabbing a beer mug and making his way towards the cellar. I hung my coat on the hat stand and sat beside the fireplace to warm myself up.
What a coincidence to meet you here. What about buying me a drink to celebrate this moment?
Got the mystical down. Anzox must have heard me come in and rose up from the corner to approach me, bringing his lute with him.
Very high-pitched voice.
He's a bard, but one without a patron to support his artistic career. He's also something of a detective fanatic, though I doubt if he has the necessary talents to actually be one. Nowadays he travels between taverns to sing for his supper, all while hoping to find some rich noble patron who will appreciate his talent and shower him with wealth.
Yeah, me and you both.
Oh, what a coincidence.
I'm flattered that Roman the Great Detective still remembers me.
God, I hope he doesn't talk much in this. That's a really hard voice to do.
I'd never forget a guy who can distract me every time when possible, not on purpose, but still impressive. Of course I do. You left such an impression on me last time. When I was trying to solve that case and you...
I'm really sorry about the please no.
Anzox fled,
Thank
clutching
God.
his lute.
I hope he never appears again.
Great. Saved a pint for myself. It's almost dinner time, but there's
If
no
he
other
does come
customers
back,
here.
He'll have a different voice.
Is it because of the heavy snow? I'm starting to feel thirsty after staying by the fireplace for too long. What's keeping how do you think you say that? Just Sarzen from bringing up the booze. As I looked around, I spotted a guy covered in a priestly robe and veil, wearing a silver Q cross, and curled up at a corner table. I can't make out his face in the candlelight. His mug of cider is still full and untouched. Who in the hell would... Is that a disguise? Hasn't he heard the saying about tigers changing their stripes? Zahn came out from behind the counter and handed me a mug of cider along with a note. That's elegant. If you find out anything regarding her, keep it to yourself. Her? Whatever. I've seen stranger things. Ooh, I shoved the note up my sleeve, drank a gulp of cider and purposefully let out a loud belch. Nice. I relaxed in my usual chair, enjoying myself in the quiet and familiar atmosphere of the White Star Tavern.
To go to sleep to.
Looks like we're the only people here tonight. The logs in the fireplace were making tiny crackling sounds. Zarzan sat behind the counter, reading the cookbook his father left him. Anzox was playing his lute. Elegant had gone upstairs a while ago. Maybe I'll live here after I retire if I have the money. Assuming the White Star keeps its comforting atmosphere until then. Come to think of it, what should I do to kill the time before dinner is served? I brought a book called A Brief History of Apollyon with me to do some reading during my vacation. Although I don't really think this little book can tell me anything about my homeland I don't already know. I could also check out White Star's special Christmas menu. I can't have any meat for another 2 days, but a glimpse of a good menu and a little bit of imagination won't break the rules. Maybe I'll just take a nap. I could use a good nap after losing sleep for almost a month. What should I do before dinner? A brief history of Apollyon, look at White Star's menu, take a nap.
What would I do? That rain
I'd probably look
sound
at the
made
menu.
me want to take a nap, but I'd probably look at the menu if it's a book that I think won't be of interest.
Okay. I might as well take a look at the Sarzen's Christmas menu.
Sarsens. Yeah,
Sarsens.
that's right.
I scanned through the thoroughly changed menu on the wall.
What have they got?
Ooh, look at that. Pale ale, cider, wine, wheat bread, apple pie and lamb chops. Nice and festive.
A lamb chops. Festive.
Very festive. From inside the kitchen came the warm scent of rich stews and spices, satisfying in the way that only home-cooked dishes can be. Sarzen came out of the kitchen and brought a plate of smoked heron and pale ale. Oh, thanks.
That's almost...
No, hang on. What was his voice again?
That's almost me, huh? Pity I can't serve you clams in this cold weather.
Nothing like that.
Wasn't it?
I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. At least it's better than carrots.
Fortunately, we still have some smoked herring. I'd have to serve you carrot stew otherwise. Bon appetit!
He returned to the kitchen, then brought Anzox a bowl of lamb
It's less
stew.
relaxing when I do voices, I've noticed.
It's less relaxing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like mine are a bit more intense compared to yours.
I'm jealous!
Should I be
Elegant came downstairs, hesitated a moment, then took
be
a seat
more-
at the corner table.
refined?
She glanced at me and I quickly looked elsewhere.
She's sexy.
0. Christmas Carol. Chapter 0, I see. Investigating crime scene. After dinner, I sank into a rocking chair near the fire and let myself relax. The logs in the fire, heavy with pine resin, crackled and popped as the chair slowly swung back and forth with a creaking noise.
Not a lot of customers, yes, man.
That's much more relaxing. Sarzan brought a chair and sat down next to me, gazing into the fireplace. Don't worry so much. Just give it a couple of days. You'll have as many customers as you had in the years before.
I get the feeling this year might be a little different. Can't really tell why, though.
Oh god, not his voice.
Perhaps the howling winds outside are keeping the customers away.
Anzox heard our conversation and came to join us with his lute.
Why has he changed blue?
It might be just because it's focusing on the other one.
As if something as minor as high winds could stop folk from having cravings for Cesar's famous home cooking. Flatter me all you like, you're still not getting a discount. I was being sincere. No, I wouldn't mind a discount.
The White Star has a variety of activities to entertain overnight guests and those who stick around after dinner. There's a darts competition Saturday evening. If all the players are friendly and there are no authorities around, Sarzan would cover some tables with blue flannel and take bets. I doubt anybody like that would be out in this weather. I elbowed Sarzan quietly and gave him a wink.
Not tonight.
He glanced towards Elegant before whispering to me with one hand hiding his mouth. After all, we don't know her that well. Let's hold off on the gambling for the time
That should
being.
have been me speaking that. but it
Yeah,
didn't say
maybe.
it.
Well, if you think of something else, let me know. I'll see if I can keep us occupied.
What do you want to do tonight? Should we talk to Elegant?
Yes.
I'll do Elegant. By the way,
Oh, I think she's going to be a main character. And she's the lady, and so am I.
okay, well you can do that then. By the way, I don't know Elegant very well. I'll ask her quietly when Anzox won't notice. Like that, say that out loud. I walked towards the round table she was sitting at before pulling out a chair and taking a seat and offering my hand.
Without any punctuation.
Hello. I'm Roman. I waited for Elegant to reach out for the handshake, but it seemed she didn't want to. My right hand hovered in the air as awkwardly as the silence.
Hello.
I apologise if I'm disturbing you. I was about to push my chair away and end the embarrassing conversation before it started, but paused as she motioned for me to stay seated. She looked me up and down, slowly. I could almost feel the weight of those lake blue eyes through that thin veil. As a detective used to observing others, I know how uncomfortable it is to be examined so thoroughly by such a sharp and intense gaze.
Did you notice I was staring at you intently during that bit?
I did,
was
yeah.
doing her. Was it comfortable?
No, it was okay. I was doing alright.
You're on good terms with the owner of this tavern, are you not?
Well, you could say that. But how can you tell?
The way you pass information is too obvious.
I felt naked. It was like
That's
her
funny
eyes were
'cause
peering
you don't
through
have any
me.
cancer.
Yeah. It was like her eyes were peering through me and into my soul.
You need not fret. I do not care about your business. I would imagine as a detective like you has more than a few informants.
I didn't notice until now that I was involuntarily biting my left thumb. It's a nervous tic I've had since I was young. I still haven't managed to break the habit.
No need to be polite. Just tell me why you came to me.
Well, if you insist. Relieved, I unclenched my fist and took out my handkerchief to wipe the sweat from my pads. Actually, I came here to ask. Your race, your gender, your cider.
I guess your cider's the most polite out of them.
What you're drinking, is that what that means, do you think?
I'm guessing so. It's definitely more polite than any of those.
Not interested in actually drinking from your glass.
I prefer to remain sober in case something unexpected happens.
At this moment, Anzoc suddenly came up.
Still deep in conversation, are we? I thought you were talking about nothing, so I thought I'd join in.
God, he's annoying.
Trust me, we've got plenty to talk about.
By the way, I've had a puzzle in a tavern from another town. Would you be interested?
Sorry, we're kind of in the middle of...
What's the puzzle?
Elegance seemed interested, taking her mug and sitting down with Anzox by the fire.
Playing a puzzle game again, Anzox.
That's another voice.
Sarzan just finished cleaning the kitchen and came
If
to
there's
sit
any
by the
sort
fire.
of gap, I can't maintain a voice.
Well, you've got Anzox locked down at this point.
Just game in time.
Yeah, you're not going from that voice. I'm not really in the mood. Hear a story or go to rest.
You're a story mode.
Yeah. But Anzox is telling this story.
Oh no.
It's not like you got anything better to do. You can just listen and let us solve the puzzle if you want.
Another voice. I better do it by myself, just than leaving it to you guys. Let's start, Anzox.
Oh god. It kills me doing Anzoc's voice.
Anzox cleared his throat.
Why is he so high pitched?
No one knows. Then caressed his lute and said...
One night in a small farming town famous for its barley, the only windmill in the town came to a stop. This was the first time it had happened.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Since the mill was so vital to their work, the villagers rushed out to check the mill. From afar, the villagers saw the windmill blades were no longer rotating.
The dogs don't like
It's,
Anzocs.
Yeah.
They thought that the sudden wind and snow had broken the transmission shaft that ran the mill. The villagers came to the mill. The ground covered in thick snow over their ankles.
It's Welsh.
It's hard.
Anzox has just revealed he's Welsh.
Towered over them in the white expanse. The blades turned into an ominous position, looking like an inverted cross.
Oh, devil.
I assumed this was a puzzle, not some bard tale you used to coax coins from drunkards.
Elegant's tail swished as she impatiently drummed her fingers on the tabletop, while Sarzan sat and listened attentively.
It's not as though you're paying me, so sit and listen. Allow me to continue. As they drew closer, they found the windmill's maintenance gondola was tied with a hemp rope to secure it.
Please click the clue button to view specified evidence.
Specific.
Oh, thank you. Where is the... Oh, I see. There he is. Clue. Ordinary rope tying the miller on the maintenance basket. Okay. Okay.
But then they saw it. The miller who ran the mill was suspended, upside down in the middle of the air. His eyes were wide open with fear, his face contorted as though he was screaming in terror. His paws were stiff and hanging down and level with the edge of the windmill blades. The snow from yesterday clung to his cold body. How ironic that the object used to ensure safety had become a lethal weapon. No one could imagine that.
Lethal? Wait a minute, Anzox. Did the safety rope really cause the death of the miller?
Do you disagree, Roman? After all, the safety rope was tied to the miller's dead body.
Yes, but why can't the safety rope be the murder weapon? What was that second clue that we had then?
Have a little click.
Clicky click click. The miller's body was hanging upside down, his hands level with the windmill's blades. Okay. Why can't the safety rope be the murder weapon? Because it was
around
tied
the
to...
waist.
Was it around the waist? Hang on.
Yeah.
Okay. I trust you. I just want to... It was hanging upside down. Couldn't it have been to his ankles?
I mean, I think that would make it more. I don't know. Look, I don't know.
Well, did you see waist?
A lot
Did
of
you?
energy here, screaming in a Welsh accent.
Did you take in anything that you were saying?
Not really. No, I was just praying for it to end.
So did you think that it was the waist just because, like, if it was tied around your
Well,
waist?
if it's a safety rope, why would you be like, right, I'm going to go up this high point. I'll just tie this
it
around my ankles. No, actually, I'll tie it around my neck.
But would you be hung upside down if it was
Well,
around your waist?
If it failed somehow and you fell out and you were hung upside down.
Tied around the waist?
But he said, why can't it be the weapon? And I would imagine that it's because, why would it?
It's not around the neck.
Yeah.
So, should we just say waists and see what happens?
I like that this person had two waists. What sort of
Yeah.
animal do you think it is?
It couldn't be deadly if it was tied around the waist.
How do you explain the fact that the body was upside down?
Maybe the miller has an enormous head. Actually, I misspoke. What I'm trying to say is... I can't... Oh, it's around the ankle. Can't be deadly if it's tied to
Okay,
the
so you were
ankle.
right.
For once.
Is it like that sport from I think that's a stupid idea, though.
But they tied it... They were doing bungee jumping, that's what happened.
Is it like that sport from overseas? What do they call it? Bungee jumping.
Correct. A safety rope is typically tied to the ankle or waist. Considering the position of the body, the only possible way was tied around the ankle.
Still think, though, that if it was tied around the waist and you fell out of a basket, you could go upside down if you were, like, top heavy.
Yeah, I guess.
I think
Big
my
head.
legs are lighter than my breasts and head.
Yeah, I like to think that as well.
That's really inappropriate.
That is indeed true, but there must be something that killed the miller.
The cold?
We can discuss that next. Go on then, Anzox.
God, does he have to keep talking?
Anzox then spoke for the next 20 minutes straight.
As I was saying, the miller had died in a windmill where he had spent his nights and days.
I'm so glad there's no camera. I have to, like, really contort my face. And I do this weird thing with my arms.
Yeah, you're really flailing around.
The local police initially determined that the old miller was trying to repair the windmill while he was drunk.
My God, why will he not stop speaking?
He had slipped, lost his footing and fallen from the repair gondola. However, the cause of death was still unclear, though his head might have
First deduction added to the clue.
The townsfolk invited one of the greatest detectives in the realm to investigate the seed.
Dog does not like any of this Welshness.
He was an old-fashioned detective, and he refused to stay until he was paid no less than 13 a year and all travel expenses.
Come on, it's okay.
13 rare.
I'm not really Welsh.
That's 910 see it.
Gareth is, though.
For just one case, that detective could eat fried lamb chops every meal for a month if he hadn't dared to fast until Christmas.
I wish my case is paid that well.
Perhaps you could charge more after your reasoning skills improve.
Sarzan couldn't help but chuckle.
Did I sound Scottish when I chuckled?
Yeah.
Cool.
At least let me have some dignity.
When the townsfolk came to his humble residence, he was seated behind his great desk, playing with a prism he had bought from the capital's Grand Bazaar. Bazaar! Sunlight from the small...
Oh, God.
Sunlight from the small window passed through the lens and scattered into a rainbow of colour.
Why did I pick this voice for the person that speaks the absolute most?
It's just
After
typical.
listening to the village's account, the detective struggled to get up from his easy chair with a cane, then asked his only servant to call the college.
He's gonna have
This
a.
should be one of his few field investigations.
He's gonna
He's
have,
going to have an accident and his voice is going to change. That's what's going to happen.
Well, he's gonna have one of these stories every day.
Yes, and he's going to, at some point, accidentally get strangled and become a lot less intense.
One problem was that the description of the crime scene is not detailed enough to his liking. Another problem was that the case sounded so bizarre.
And the biggest problem was that the glib bard could not get to the point. Yes, elegant, yes.
Then why don't you?
No. Oh yeah, that is the right one. Sorry, go on. I thought it was the
Then
other
why
guy.
don't you tell a story?
The sudden interruption made Anzox blush with anger.
It's fine. The details make the story more vivid, even if they are irrelevant.
I just think it's a good job that people can read what's being said as well.
Are you trying to suggest that my Scottish accent is poor?
No, I'm saying that maybe this is
After
it's
the
hard to
body
focus
was
on.
discovered, the detective arrived at the town in the afternoon. He learned from the gossip in the tavern that on the night of the miller's death, two people had spent the night in the mill, but they both had alibis.
Who were they?
I'm lightheaded. I feel like I had this test once for epilepsy, and they make you sit in a chair in the middle of an empty room, and they put jelly on your head and strap things to you, and then they make you breathe in and out rapidly for like 5 minutes until you pass out, and that's how it feels.
Okay.
Yep, not a fan. I hate Anzox. I think he's a right dick.
Yeah.
One was the miller's daughter, the other was the miller's apprentice.
They're in love.
They had spent the night in the mill as usual.
About those two people. I'd like to know.
Oh,
Yeah,
they were so having
Let's have another look at our clues.
relations.
Killed soon after he returned home. Christmas is what it says there. Since he was still in his coat, every person in the town had an alibi when he died. Body had no wounds. He may have accidentally slipped and fell from the hanging basket
Didn't
when
he just
repairing the
freeze to
windmill.
death?
Cause the death is unknown. Maybe his head struck the nail.
Poisoned in his alcohol made him fall.
Okay.
Look at characters.
I'm a grey wolf.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. We've not seen these ones.
Hans, the miller's apprentice, an 18-year-old cat, came from a nearby town 8 years ago.
Okay. What would I like to know? About the miller's daughter? About
Yes.
the apprentice? About the miller's daughter. I'd like to know about the miller's daughter. In your highest voice.
Anna, the miller's daughter, she was 16 years old and grey wolf. She had no shortage of suitors in the town and even caught the eye of a few local nobles. And not just because of her father's wealth, she was also renowned for her beauty. She had been the dream girl for every...
It like flits between Scottish, Welsh,
Yeah.
and Scouse.
for every bachelor in the town since she was 14 years old.
It's
She had
commentary
a
on
good
how close those accents
relationship
are.
with her father, or at least other outsiders thought so.
I would also want to know,
About the apprentice.
what about the miller's apprentice?
The apprentice's name was Hans. He came to the mill from the next town 8 years ago. At that time, he was just 10 years old and all alone in the well. No parent could be so cruel if it weren't for money. Fortunately, the miller treated him well. The apprentice was also very clever. He always seemed to be able to succeed, no matter how complicated the miller's orders. Recently, there was a rumor that he had a close relationship with the miller's daughter.
Oh, it's a tale as old as time.
Love added to clue. So would we see that then? Oh, I see. The miller's daughter seemed to have a special bond with the miller's apprentice. Let me
After
think.
8, anyone?
Go on, please.
Here you go. Do you want one? Yeah.
I'd love an after 8.
It is Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, ho, ho.
It's Christmas.
I have to say, those two caught my interest. Please go on.
Oh, is anyone watching?
One person watching is probably Dovham.
The Christmas song that I sang the other day, that we don't know what it is,
Yes.
this person watching might know.
Yes, they might know.
Should I sing it?
Yeah, go on. You can sing it.
Can you remember how it goes? Because
No, I can't remember how it goes.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
Christmas. Merry Christmas. It is Christmas today. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, let's see. If we...
Christmas. Merry Christmas. It is Christmas today.
One more time.
Fuck off.
I interrupted you at the beginning of it.
Christmas. It is Christmas. No, hang on. I did it wrong.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know now.
I
I think
that...
I've made it up, but I sing it and have done for years. So, what is it? Where did it come from? Could it be from a musical?
I doubt it.
Why?
So it
'Cause
goes.
it's pretty good.
It goes Christmas. It is Christmas.
No, it goes Christmas. Merry Christmas. It is Christmas today.
Okay. Well, if anybody knows what that song is,
Yeah,
then
if the person watching knows, please tell me. Because I once sang a song and then everyone poked fun at me because I got it wrong. And I feel so certain that this is real. But I think it might be another wrong time. Because, and you cannot deny that the version of Away in a Manger that I thought it was doesn't sound like the real version of Away in a Manger.
So, Vicky,
Away in a manger, no crib for a bed. The little Lord Jesus lay down his sweet head. Bum bum.
yeah, so that's just Away in a
It
Manger
goes on like that. Obviously, we all know it.
put to the melody of the A-Team.
Which apparently is not how the original carol was sang.
No, but Away in a Manger has a couple of different versions, doesn't it?
So that could be a version.
Yeah, we can will it to existence.
But yeah, so if the person watching knows Christmas, Merry Christmas, it is Christmas today. If they know that, hit me up. I gotta do
Yeah.
more. Oh, what about the miller's reputation? Sorry, I had to have a drink. I really shouldn't have had an after eight because it doesn't work with high-pitched, horrible voices that you hate. Oh, the cross I have to bear.
The miller had lived his entire life in the town and had no enemies. He was well regarded by the townsfolk.
Dog's just leaving the room.
The dogs are really unhappy.
His wife died of puerperal fever shortly after she gave birth to Eleanor, and he had lived as an old bachelor ever since.
Bilbo, the bread is okay. Wanna come up here?
Well, no,
And
that
hear
seems
the
like a
Welsh
bad
close
idea.
up.
Seems like a bad idea.
He had several drinking friends who he'd met within the pub almost every night after supper, drinking and talking until the tavern closed.
Sounds like some of the tavern's regulars.
So folk at the tavern provided the detective with additional information.
The additional 10 talking points.
Oh my god.
The miller had been extremely generous recently, and one day he even brought everyone in the tavern around to feel celebration.
Kill me.
That's all the information on those present.
I was really hoping he'd stop talking soon.
This is
Yeah.
also the bard, the local bard.
Yeah, but I
Has this
just
voice-
thought we were only in here for a second. We're in here all night,
It's-
forever.
we're here for the game.
For the entire game, he has to have an accident and his voice has.
Yeah, that's fine.
Having got till his fill of gossip from the noisy drinkers in the tavern, the detective left the tavern and went walking towards the mill. My voice is very sore. Within 10 minutes, the detective arrived at the mill. It was a clear and windless morning. Oh, I'm sorry, I've got a bit of a sore throat. No, I can't go as high-pitched as my normal voice is, because I've got a sore throat.
Everyone goes, oh no.
The snow at the gate of the mill hadn't been swept away by the overzealous villagers. The detective, relieved and cautious, checked the snow from the outside. The snow was unexpectedly clean. Apart from the footprints left by the villagers, who found the corpse in the outer circle, and the footprints that went all the way to the front of the house. There was nothing except some messy traces in front of the last footprints.
Oh,
It seemed that there was no shortcut or alternative entrance. The detective put on his hat and came to the mill door. He glanced down by accident before entering the door.
It's a weird way of phrasing it. He glanced down by accident.
yeah.
What?
Like, what does that mean? He just looked down. He didn't mean to do it.
Does anyone mean to? Like,
He
you
just happened to look down.
There seems to be a circular imprint around the last footprints in front of the door. and the stone used to hold the door open had also been moved.
I think that the English translation is in alpha, so it's still being corrected
Oh, right, this
properly.
isn't an English game.
No,
Great, so now I look like a racist. Thanks for telling me, Gareth.
you do look like a racist if it was like a high-pitched Welsh game.
Stepping inside, the detective met Eleanor, who was covering her face and crying, and Hans, who was comforting her. The body of old Miller was still hanging on the windmill, swinging like a pendulum in the wind. Do you want to listen to their testimony first, or go straight to the scene?
I think he's going to be like the person that talks us around all crime scenes. At this point, hear the testimony or investigate the scene.
Well, you can hear the testimony that someone else will be talking.
Hear the testimony. Bang.
We'll invite a third person.
Perhaps you should investigate the scene first,
In case something gets destroyed later. Not to mention the witness does not seem to be emotionally stable. Elegant should fuck off. She's really
She
up
thinks
her
she
own
is.
arse, isn't she?
Yeah.
Are you new in this profession? How come I have to teach you? Didn't realise we were being tested. Thought
Yeah,
this was a story.
I thought it was like a little puzzle.
Maybe you should listen to her, even though she is a...
The glare coming through Elegant's veil should have set Anzox on fire, so he shut his mouth tactfully.
Was he about to be racist and colour a cat?
Maybe.
The detective first went up the stairs to check the scene of the death.
Anzox quickly sketched something on a piece of paper and handed it over.
The mill is divided into 3 floors and is about as tall as 5 people. Between the maintenance gondola on the 3rd floor and the window on the 2nd floor is a connecting shaft between the fan blade and the mill. The maintenance gondola is extremely narrow and long and about as wide as my dick. There was a layer of snow on it, but no footprints. 2 ropes were tied to the railing of the basket.
Oh my god, I cannot believe how much this character talks.
The left part was covered with snow like the other parts of the railing, and there was no snow on the right part.
If a character is holding an instrument, you gotta believe that it's going to be talking most of the time.
Whenever I played Skyrim, bards did nothing.
The detective leaned against the railing and looked down. Under the wooden railing hung the cold, dead body of the miller. The rope on the left has only a section of rope head, swaying in the wind like a peddler who dared not go home without a sail. As he tried to lean out further, the railing creaked under the pressure. Had they cut the railing? The snow fell from the inclined railing, falling and disintegrated in the air. The detective's biological instincts kicked in, his fear bristling involuntarily. He pulled back quickly and turned to check the situation at the entrance, putting his right hand inside his coat and grasping the dagger he kept to defend himself from villains. It was a gift from... Jeez.
Like, he pads everything out so much.
It was a gift from his first love. Every time he held the dagger, it reminded the temperature of her palm on that fateful day.
Are we listening to a love story or something?
Please, 1 elegant is enough. The detective turned around and found nothing behind him. He went downstairs quietly and found that the 2 of them were where they were, as if they had not moved. He went back to the 2nd floor and looked up from the window. Above his head was a rotating shaft of the windmill blade, which gleamed black from grease from the daily rotation and maintenance. The shadow cast by the rotating axis hit the detective's face, which gave him a very uncomfortable feeling. As though he was some prehistoric hunter shuddering in terror at the sight of some gigantic beast. The gears of the windmill were exposed about 30 centimetres away from the upper eaves of the windows. The triangular teeth were distributed around the rotating shaft. The detective put his hand into his coat pocket and gently ran his thumb across the edge of the prism he carried. Something came to mind. The detective looked out the window again. The lowest gear groove seemed to be more worn than the others. He went back to the first floor, passing by the living room and straight into the kitchen. The oven seemed to have been used recently, and the kitchen filled with a mixture of the pungent smell of charcoal and the delicious grain smell of barley bread.
He doesn't seem to be into this story anymore, does he? So, okay, I'll kind of go through it under duress.
He's just pissed off with Elegant, and aren't we all?
He opened the oven and flicked the ashes with a stick. The shape of a piece of charcoal under the ashes reminded him of the prism in his pocket. Like a wedge. Having gathered the necessary evidence, the detective returned to the living room to question the witnesses.
Okay.
Noticing the detective's approach, Eleanor sat upright with hand support, her eyes drooping. She was dressed in a light blue nightdress. Her eyes were red and swollen. Her facial fur was combed, and it was easy to see the state of disorder, despite her attempts to cover it.
Hanslock's coughed a few times, and then when he spoke again, it
Oh
was in
my
a
God.
higher, feminine voice. Okay, hope you got it in here.
I think that maybe you could be Eleanor.
Yeah, okay. Welcome, Mr. Detective. I assume this visit is related to my father's death.
It'd be nice if you could talk this way more often. It's quite funny given the voice I've been giving him.
This is a really funny thing that's happened here.
It's really hard to speak like this.
Come on, shows your dedication to your craft.
It took the detective about 10 minutes to persuade the apprentice to go upstairs with his servant, lest one of the testimonies influenced the other.
Like, what are the chances of that happening? That's crazy.
After formally introducing himself and some brief preparation, the detective asked her to tell the story of that night.
Testimony. The testimony of Elena. So it's a bit like Ace Attorney in a way, isn't it? Yesterday, after dinner, my father went to the tavern as usual. I finished my housework after about 8 o'clock. It was about 2 hours before my father came back. Nothing seemed strange. I then went up to Hans' room to chat with him. 2 hours passed by, and we didn't realise that my father had yet to return as normal. It wasn't until around 11 o'clock that we realised how late it really was. I hurried downstairs, thinking my father was quietly sitting in the living room, ready to scold me. But he wasn't there. The door was closed, and no one was in the living room. I had a feeling that something terrible must have happened. It was like a snake had slithered under the door and crawled up my spine to whisper in my ear. What? I don't know if it was because of the wind or the old hinges, but the door on that day was more difficult to open than usual. I pushed the door open and the wind blew the snow into the house. I propped the door open and made my way outside. When I got under the windmill, I had a strange thought, like an itch on my back that couldn't be scratched, and I couldn't help But look up! Hanging above my head was a purple face that was swollen and swaying in the wind. His eyes were as prominent as a goldfish. Saliva had flowed down his open, screaming mouth and frozen into ice. Saliva had flowed down his open, screaming mouth, and frozen into ice on his snout and fur. I was frightened, so I rushed back into the house and closed the door. Kaboom!
Imagine describing the death of your parent like that.
Yeah, I know.
My mother's mouth was hung open and saliva was hanging. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah, I blame Eleanor, to be honest. I couldn't sleep afterwards.
The door wouldn't open, though.
Every time I closed my eyes, I could still see that face. I can't believe that was my father.
As she finished her description of the horrible situation, Eleanor collapsed on the sofa with her hands covering her face. At this time, the detective smelled something fishy in her testimony. After thorough thought of her testimony, the detective found the irreconcilable contradiction between the testimony and the evidence.
Which evidence
Let's
contradicts?
look at the clues.
Right, what we got him here?
So it's the go down. Down. So the circular imprints around the last footprint in front of the door, and there were footprints in the outer ring of the snow. One of
Oh, sorry. Oh, I see here.
which reached the door, and in front of the last. The snow to hold the gate for easy access had been removed. Down. A 3-story, 8 meter. Down.
Down, 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 down.
Down.
Down, 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 down. Stop.
So I can't keep reading. It is Christmas, don't you know? Ra la 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 la.
Okay. Do you know what we're supposed to click?
I need to blow my nose. Can people blow their nose on stream? Is that allowed?
No, they're not allowed to blow their nose on stream.
Ugh. Scroll down.
Scroll down.
So I can read it all. So there's a wedge-shaped piece of coal in the oven, which could that be?
Could it
She was so
be?
frightened that she shut the door, but she said that she wedged the door open.
But she doesn't say it here.
She did in that bit that we just spoke, didn't she?
We can look at the log, maybe. I feel like we've got to look at what the testimony says.
To go up. So I pushed the door open and propped the door open and made my way outside. And the
I
door
got-
was more difficult to open.
Okay.
And when I looked up, there he was, all dead. Go on. So I rushed to the house and closed the door, but she propped it open. So she'd have to remove the thing she propped. She doesn't mention that, does she?
But so, I feel like we've got to find an inconsistency with these words.
Do you?
I don't know. I mean, maybe not. Eleanor went to Hans' room to chat from 8 to 11. When she went out, she saw
She
the
said
dead
2
Miller.
hours passed as well, and 8 to 11 is 3, isn't it?
Yeah, but we've got to click one of these to say that it's inconsistent. Don't we?
Wasn't the stone to prop the door open, or the circular imprint by the door?
Circular imprints around the last footprint in front of the door. What are the circular imprints?
Was that not to do with the stone?
Circular imprints around the last footprint in front of the door. I don't know, maybe. What do you think's most likely? Stone.
Well, go on to it first.
What do you mean? Go on to it.
Go on to the bit where they ask the question of the inconsistencies?
This is what it is here. We've
No,
got to.
we're in the log.
No, this is the log.
No, I mean we're in the clues. You go out with
No,
this.
this isn't. This came up without me clicking clues.
Oh,
So we've got to pick one of these that proves what her statement, what her testimony was inconsistent, I think.
oh. So if his hands are level with the windmill blades, then okay. Scroll down. Scroll down. I want to find out the way that the mill is. It's a 3-story, 8-meter tall building. Maintenance is on the 3rd floor. So he would have been at the 2nd floor.
Hmm.
Okay, so scroll down.
Scroll down, scroll down.
She said she went out, saw his head. I don't.
She was so frightened that she shut the door.
Oh.
Footprints in the outer ring of the snow, one of which reached the door. In front of the last footprint was a jumble of tracks. The miller's daughter seemed to have a special bond with the miller's apprentice. The miller was killed soon after he returned home, since he was still in his coat. Every person in the town had alibi when he died. The body had no wounds. He may have accidentally slipped and fell from the hanging basket when repairing the windmill. Cause of death is unknown. Maybe his head struck the mill. Okay. About 30 centimeters from the eaves of the window, the lowest notch is badly worn. There was a wedge-shaped piece of coal in the oven. Was this used?
Well, the inconsistencies are that she said 2 hours. We've got to pick out this list, so I'm kind of confused.
We could click this, but this is the testimony itself.
Right.
It's confusing as to why this is a clickable thing.
Well, I'm guessing because
Well, we're gonna have to click something, I guess.
yeah, I know.
She says.
Do footprints, I think.
And she was so frightened that she shut the door. I feel like so frightened that she shut the door.
I think footprints.
Let's click footprints. Footprints in the outer ring of the snow, one of which reached the door. In front of the last footprint, there was a jumble of tracks. There were circular imprints around the last footprint in front of the door. Let's click footprints. Footprints.
Oh, give me some details.
The paradox is...
No other footprints? Oh, yeah, no other footprints unseen.
Okay. Eleanor will destroy footprints. Oh yes, if there's only one series of footprints,
Yeah.
she would have certainly left her footprints as well. It was said earlier that only one series of footprints on the site reached the gate of the mill. Since Eleanor had gone out, she would have certainly left her footprints as well. Although I don't know how she did it, Eleanor must have concealed something. As for the reason, we can only go on with the inquiry.
The detective tidied his sleeves and carefully pointed out the errors in Eleanor's testimony.
Is that me as well?
Yeah.
As I recall, Miss Eleanor, you just said you went out to check outside. Yes. Then why is there only one set of footprints from the outside of the house to the gate of the mill?
I don't think it's written very clearly in the clues, by the way.
Well, I must be so scared that my memory is confused. Let me start over. Testimony.
Testimony.
The testimony of Eleanor.
Corrected.
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 Yesterday after dinner, my father went out to the tavern as usual. I went upstairs for Hans to chat. 2 hours passed by, and there was no sign for my father's return. I went downstairs around 11 and found that he had not come back. I opened the door and my father's distorted head appeared as the body swung outside. I was so scared that I ran back to the house and closed the door. The scene was so frightening that my memory was confused. That night, every time I closed my eyes, that horrible face would pop up. I couldn't sleep at all.
I just took my headphone off for a second because I had an itchy ear. I don't wear headphones normally, and these are really huge headphones that cancel out all sound. And it was like you were screaming at the top of your voice. So I think I understand why the dogs are perturbed.
Yeah, it's my voice that's doing it.
It's definitely you. Mine's soothing.
As long as a lie is told, more lies are bound to be used to cover it up.
I hope you're not feeding her all of the treats.
No.
She'll poop everywhere.
You're going to poop everywhere, are you?
She will poop.
It's a pity that even the
It's the dogs we're talking about, by the way.
It's a pity that even the most talented folk can't make up every lie perfectly, let alone under such pressure.
Miss Elena, there's really no need to hide anything from me.
Even the detective saw through the lies she made up this time.
Which evidence contradicts the testimony?
Okay, well, it's the corpse position then, isn't it? Which is what I was saying earlier on.
Why?
Because the blades... Hang on, go to where the...
Down to the testimony.
No, go up. Stop, no. Sorry, go down to where it tells you about the mill.
Right, 8-meter tall building between the maintenance basket on the 3rd floor and the window on the 2nd floor. There is the connecting shaft of the windmill blades, which is slightly higher than the doorway. Okay. It says the miller's body was hanging upside down, his hands level with the windmill's blades. After dinner, the miller went to the pub. And
But it's not...
Elena...
That's just a... That's not her real testimony. That's just a summary. We have to remember where she said what she says about the head and all that.
The horrible face would pop up as long as it was...
But his hands were down.
I was so scared that...
My father's distorted head appeared. But it's his hands that are down, isn't it?
But his head would be there as well. I mean, I can go for that. There's really no need to hide anything from
What would you
me.
pick?
What contradicts this testimony? Even the detective saw through the lies she made up this time. Yes, he did. It's a pity that even the
Still
most
want to
talented
say
folk
that
can
they
make
did
up
not
every lie.
talk 2 hours. They spoke from 8 to 11. That is very clearly 3.
Yeah. 2 hours passed by. Went downstairs around 11 and found that he had not come back. I opened the door and my father's distorted head appeared as the body swung outside. Oh yeah, we're well over. But it didn't seem like a reasonable place for me to stop.
Okay, well, let's pick an answer now.
Yeah, this will be our cliffhanger.
It's a cliff.
So,
It was
Heads-
hang on, maybe... Hmm. You disagree with me.
well, no, I mean, I've got nothing better to suggest, so we'll try it.
You got nothing better to do.
Yeah. It's the position of the body. How could Alina see his head in the door if the miller's paws were even were even with the blades?
That's what I said. Eleanor saw what she should not have seen, only because she was actually out there and cleaned up her footprints when she came back.
Not to mention, cleaning up her footprints is suspicious. Why would you need to clean up your footprints if you're just a witness?
Perhaps she panicked and did something that would implicate herself accidentally. Or the whole scene she described was just some sort of delusion.
That could be true. As you said, you saw the face of the deceased in the door. This is definitely impossible for you with the current position of the body. Corpses don't simply move after death, do they? How could?
They?
Do they? I don't know. I don't even know.
Eleanor screamed. Oh no, hang on. Was that Scottish? Am I Welsh?
Yeah.
Eleanor screamed hysterically and ran out to the living room. It seemed that he couldn't get near her for a while. So the detective went upstairs to visit another witness, Hans.
And we're going to find out what Hans has got to say for himself next time on Borderline Games.
And
Merry
all of
Christmas,
the voices will be
everybody.
different,
All
by
the
the
voices
way.
will be different. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Oh, hang on. When we'll be streaming on Christmas Day, obviously,
I mean, okay, that's new to me.
with Garrett's
Of
entire
course.
family.
Yes, of course, we'll be all streaming.
Yep.
With my entire family. All
Yeah.
doing the voices, so you can look forward to that.
Yeah, and the voices will be different next time
I
because
don't know if that's true. I don't know
won't.
if that's. I don't think that's going to happen.
I won't
All right.
remember anything.
Merry Christmas.
Voices. Okay, Merry
Bye-bye,
Christmas,
everybody.
everybody. I hope you have a really nice time and that nobody dies. Okay, bye.
Bye.